powerful, visionary, outstanding, phenomenal, spectacular, sizzling, irresistible, courageous, brave, loving, huge, ginormous. All these wonderful words and more are what we're going to talk about in this episode of Powerfully Her. Welcome, and I'll see you on the inside. Woo! Episode 15. Hey, how is it going? How are you, Queen? How's it going with you? I'm so happy, as always, that you're showing up for you for this amazing podcast, because this is a step in the right direction for you. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm just so thankful that you are here. And this is giving me the motivation to keep going. It is episode 15, but in my eyes, this is episode 150. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as we're speeding right through. We're being consistent. We're making it happen because we know the work that we have to do. We understand how important this is. And that's why we're going to keep going. So it might be episode 15. It was more like episode 150 because we understand what the goal is, what we need to do here. And we're celebrating. We need to celebrate each step. It's something monumental. And I'm so glad you're on this journey with us. So yay! So episode 15. So, in true Powerfully Her fashion and style, the way we roll, we get right to it. We're not waiting, we get right to it. So I first want to scale back. And again, truly, I want to say thank you. I care about you. Thank you so much for showing up for you. And I always ask, how you doing? How are you? I want to know how are you doing? And by now that I'm very animated with my hands, and I'm very I love to communicate, and I love people, so I like interaction. So I want to empower you. Go on YouTube. If you're watching the video, go on YouTube, or if you listen to Apple or on Spotify. If you are listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, I want you to comment. I want you to tell me how you're doing. I want you to tell me where you're at in life. I want you to tell me your goals. I want this to be interactive, because this is what gives me fuel. It really does. So I want to hear from you. And again, any things that align with our podcast, Powerfully Her, I would love for you to talk about. I would love for you to email it to me or put it in the comments like, hey, is it okay if you maybe make this a topic? If it aligns, I would love to do it. Why not? This podcast is not about what Nadira wants to talk about or what I think needs to happen. This is something that has been a journey of things that have happened for us as women. And we need to be able to have a place where we're really being empowered. And there's an attack on so many things. And one of those things is femininity and just womanhood. And I want us to be able to be empowered to know that we're special and we're women and it's beautiful and it's God-given. Like, hello, God made us, right? So I think it's really, it is important to make sure we have community, because it's about the collective. It is about us coming together in positivity and lifting each other up. You know how I roll. So I will get off my soapbox and get onto the podcast, and we will discuss and we'll dive in for episode 15, which is Think Big. So episode 15 is about Think Big. And why I chose this is my dad. My dad. And when I talk about the lover of women, and we need environments where supporting, everyone does, but we need environments as long as you're leading with love and positivity. That's just flat out. Like, if you out here in the world being a monster, no, this is not for you. But for those that really want to do right in the world and do right with themselves, this is for you. So the reason why I'm bringing up my dad is, in order for us to all be able to have our God-given, our birthright, what God has given us, and which will definitely be a topic, birthright, because that's huge. All of it's huge, but is support. The support that we get makes it easier and makes it like breathing, makes this life that can be very difficult at times. It could be very challenging, it can be a storm a lot. And things are being thrown at us all the time. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. If not, we are all going through at least like 2 or 3 things at one time, maybe more. So that's real. So I hear that. And especially as women, we are going through it. So to be able to surround yourself with those family members or spouse or friends or whomever, coworkers, whatever it is that uplift you, that makes you, and you know who you are, that empowers your identity, who you truly are. And one of those people is my mentor, my dad. He did that. My father was it says was, but really is, even though he passed in 2019, is a big supporter of women, loving women, supporting women, and letting us know that we're strong. And why I say think big, because this is something my dad would say all the time, and this is something his mentor would say the same thing. We have to think big. Gotta think big. And why you should think big is because if you don't think big, you are not seeing what God has for you. That's just the bottom line. If you do not see huge, if your mind can't go there to the greatness that God has for you, you will always play small. And I'm going to say it again. If you do not see things the way that God sees it, in a way where he has all these wonderful things for you, all these special things that he wants you to be able to access and activate, like we spoke in Monday Momentum, activate your greatness. If you don't see that, if you don't see that it's possible for you to have a wonderful life and have the things that you've always dreamed of, you won't have it. You won't. And why? Is because you're playing small. You know that quote, fake it till you make it? Wait, what? How long are you going to fake it? Like, let's be honest here. Let's keep it 100% real. How are you going to continue to fake it till you make it? When are you going to stop faking it? So that means you go through life as a shell of yourself, masking yourself away? That's living? No, that's surviving. That's not thriving. And that's daggone sure is not what God intended. So this is why you want to think big. Think grandiose. Think as big as you want. Because it's possible. It is possible if you align yourself, mind, body, soul, with God and who you are, and you discipline yourself. I'm telling you can have it. I'm telling you. And then also give yourself grace, because we fall. We fall. See, a part of thinking big is understanding that stuff is going to happen, right? Like I said, things are going to happen. They are. But when you think big, you don't lose sight of what the master plan is. You don't lose sight of the vision. You don't lose sight of what really needs to happen and what the goal is, or the goals are, what the major plan is. You don't lose sight of that. You're like, you know what? I know this has happened. No matter what, that would be another episode. No matter what, we are going to continue pushing on. We're not going to give up. We're not going to give up. Look at all the great women have done so many monumental, life-changing, history-made things that have allowed us to have lives that had brought much more possibilities. And why is that? Because we've had trailblazers, we've had heroines that have done such amazing things for us to be able to have that, because they thought big. When you think big, you will pass on that vision to those that you love. If you're a mother, you'll pass that on to your child. You'll be like, no. You could be anything. And isn't that something when it comes to kids, how we teach kids initially that they could do anything? You could do anything. You could be anything. That's what we instill in children naturally. Why? It's because that's where we come from. When we come on this earth, we're coming directly from God, directly from heaven. And like I told you before, I believe in God. I'm going to talk about him. That's what I do. That's what it is. And no judgment. We ain't judging here, but that's what I do here, because that's at my core who I am. So therefore, you're coming from a place, a godly place, the heavenly place, the place, and you come on earth as a baby. You were still in that natural state for a very long time. So the courage, the courage and fortitude that children have, and that intensity and that passion and that I can, no matter what, like kids are relentless. They're persistent. That comes from what God instilled in all of us. And when we look at a child, especially babies and just little kids, we say, you could do anything. You could be anything. They have a cape on their back. We're like, you could fly to the moon. We believe. Imagination is so fresh in children's minds. Why? Because we are in our creative space, because where we came from, and all of it's possible. Because it's all possible. That's why children believe the way they believe. That's why children move the way they do. This is why children act the way they act. And that still lives in us. But what happens is life gets hard. We get knocked down. We have horrible, horrific things sometimes happen to us. I get it. Trust me, I get it. And I know pain is sometimes, it could be so bad where it's just like, I don't even know how I'm going to go on. I don't know what's going to happen. And my heart breaks for you if that's the case. And I've said earlier in episodes, if that is the case, if you do have trauma, please get the help that you need. What has happened to you should not have happened. But just want you to know you have the power and you deserve healing. Give yourself that. Okay? And this is why this podcast is a breath of fresh air. You know, it's showing you, I want you to turn this on positivity. I want you to turn this on like, yeah, this is amazing. My husband and I, we listen back to the episodes just to making sure that what we need to work on, again, thinking big, and how we can better deliver to all of you, to you, right? And I will say, thinking big, for me, you should like your own stuff, right? I'm critical because I want the best. My husband and I, we want the best. However, what this podcast is something I would definitely love to listen to if I wasn't the host. If we didn't create this, I would definitely be like, I will listen to this. Powerfully Her, that's amazing. I love putting this podcast on. You know why? Because it's built with positivity. Because it's built with thinking big. It's built with knowing that you can. And for those moments in your day when you think you can't, we want you to be able to turn this on and know that we are sending you a reminder that you can. Okay? A beautiful reminder that you can, queen. And remember, words are powerful. So this is why I'm always saying queen, because whether you believe it or not, you are. And I'm going to keep reiterating that just so you know the power that lives within you. Okay? And going back to as far as how my father went thinking big, he learned that from his mentors. And my father had a really tough life. He had cerebral palsy, difficult life. My grandmother passed, things that I've mentioned in previous episodes. But my father had to learn to think big when the world told him no, where his own body told him no. It was working against him, where he would get evil stares and gawking and laughing from other people when everyone slammed doors on him. The whole world told him no, but you know who told him yes? God did. God put a vision in my dad. And man, when I'm telling you, he put a heart and soul that I've never seen before in anybody living, you know, that despite your troubles, despite your adversity, despite God putting this big challenge on you, you can do it, Idrissa. You can do it. That's my dad's name, Idrissa. You can do it. And it took some time for my father to actually believe it because, again, circumstances, your situation and all the pain, it can break you down ultimately, right? We all get broken down at times. So that's why I don't ever want to minimize someone's pain. I'm like, oh, that's not real. Well, just get over it. No, there are people really going through it. And I don't want to be the type to just rise above the pain as if it doesn't exist. It does exist and it hurts and it sucks and it's whack. But you have the power to heal, you have the power to fix it, and you have the power to change your story for the future, for the life you truly want. And that's the reason why thinking big is such a big deal for me. And this is my family and I, this is why a topic. So just think about it. Just like, story time. Story time here is my dad. It's crazy. My dad, I remember we had got these. This is back in the day where this is something monetary. This is something physical, but I'm making an example of the purpose of that you can do it. You work hard, you can do it. And I remember when Apple first came out with their computers. And this is like a long time ago. So this is going back, this is before the iPhones dropped. So this is more like 06, 05. And I remember my dad and I, this is when they started actually opening up Apple stores, which is crazy. That was like so unheard of, right? And they were opening up Apple stores. I remember my dad and I were in the Willowbrook Mall and we went in Apple together and we were looking underneath the tables like, where's the computer? And we didn't know the computer was built into the monitor. So we're just looking like underneath the desk, the table, like, where is it? So later we found out And it was, a hefty tag. It was pretty expensive. So we went out, sat in the hallway in the lobby, and I'm like, Dad, what are we going to do? How are we going to get it? He's like, don't worry. We're getting it. He's like, don't worry. I kid you not, a week later, we had those computers. Now, the point of that is not saying like, oh, those are computers, Nadira, that's silly. No. With those computers, the number one thing is I want you to see is that when you see something and you see it in your mind and it's something that you didn't even think of having, it just out of nowhere showed up, right? Showed up. And you saw something like incredible. You're like, wow, I want that. And it stays in your head. But you're like, how am I going to do it? But what you're looking at is something that's positive. That's what I'm saying. My dad saw something that was going to elevate us in a way where we were able, my father was a writer, he's able to write on the computer. My father, as far as our education, we didn't have a computer that was nothing like that made it a lot easier for us to do our assignments. My mother was a teacher, so everyone was able to utilize the computer in a way that helped us in a way academically, intellectually. It helped us. It was positive, right? It wasn't just to say, oh, we have an Apple computer. Who cares about that? What we cared about and what my dad saw was that, wow, this can bring so much positivity and growth into my family's life. It wasn't about worshiping something physical like, oh, it's Apple. No, we're not about that. It's not about consumerism. It's about what this brings. And the best part of the story is you go for the best. See, thinking big and going for the best go hand in hand. And that's something else my father would say and something his mentors would tell him too. And the reason why is if you do not go for the best, you will not know what God has for you. That's why thinking big and going for the best go hand in hand. Essentially, they're the same thing. Because what you're saying is not only can God give this to me if I ask and I do my part and I work hard for it, He will give me the best of it, right? Like if you're at a restaurant and they come to you like, hey, so today's specials are the worst items on the menu. No one orders them. They're actually like, we actually throw them on the floor and then pick them on the plate. A lot of customers return them because they just don't taste good. As opposed to, hey, we have filet mignon, we have lobster tail, we have caviar, we have this, we have that, tomahawk, all the good stuff, right? If you like that, that's your sort of thing. What would you choose? What would you choose? Would you choose option one, which is the food is below subpar, like it should be in the trash, shouldn't even be sold to anyone? Or would you get the food that just reminds you of how amazing God is, and this is some amazing food, right? It's going to give you a good feeling. It's going to show like, wow, this is amazing. This is possible. This is food. It's going to titillate and scintillate all the senses in your body to say, this is amazing. I'm so grateful and honored to be able to eat this. Eating it will send you to the heavens how amazing this is, right? When you want option two, when you want that menu, when you want the 5-star menu instead of the no-star menu, yeah, you would. And you should. See, don't sucker yourself out and thinking, well, no, I'll just take whatever is given to me, if that's what's for me. No, it doesn't work like that. If that's what you get, if that's what you go for, that's what you're going to get. Simple as that. If you do not go for the best, you won't get the best. If you don't think big, you won't have big. That's just it. You won't. You will not have the best that God wants to give you because you were playing small. You were playing on the sidelines. You don't think you should have the best, so you won't get the best. Period. But that's not life. It's not life. That's not what God wants for you. And if you continue to stay on the sidelines and play small, what eventually will happen is bitterness seeps into your heart and sorrow and pain and a life of misfortune, of negativity, of sadness, of what could have been. How awful is that? I remember hearing, I love quotes. I remember hearing this quote where someone said, the cemetery is full of dead dreams. And what that quote is saying is, whomever did not fulfill what God wanted them to fulfill, unfortunately, it stays here in the cemetery. And that's heavy. And I get it. It's just like, dang, she went there. Yeah, I did. Because we got to wake up. We got to wake up. It's about to be 2026. It's December. When are we going to get there? When, Queen? Like, you got to go now, right now. Start thinking big now. What do you want? What do you want? Go for the best. The best. Go for it because it's for you. It's waiting for you. The version of you in the future that God knows who you're supposed to be, she is waiting on you. She's waiting on you. You, when you were a little girl, is waiting on you. They're all waiting on you. But the one in the middle, who you are right now, she's stuck. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know where to go. And this is why, hopefully, God willing, I'm here to help you, to show you the way. And the way is trusting in God and taking action. You got to start making a list of what you want, but I'm definitely going to give you the steps. But think big. Think big. Another story about my dad. So I have a cerebral palsy. It can be difficult for my father to move around and things of that nature at times. So traveling could be, of course, very difficult. My dad was just like, no. My father did kumdo, which is Korean. It's Korean kendo. So it's fencing, but it's just an Asian form. Incredible sport. Love it. Art form, really. And my dad was having some health complications and his doctor was like, look, you going to South Korea is not the best option. My dad was just like, in his mind, he's like, I'm going to South Korea. I'm going to get my body up. I'm going to get myself where I need to do. I'm not listening to what the doctors say. I'm getting there. I'm going. Don't you know if my father went to South Korea? He went. He went to Seoul and he had the best time. And he went with my husband, who also was doing at the time, my nephew, the school, this particular, I was going to say jujitsu because my family did jujitsu too. This school, remember I said build yourself up, is an amazing school. So the thing that is kumdo, the great thing about that is my dad was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going. I'm making it happen. And he did. And he got well and he did. And this is why it is so important to say, you know what, sometimes, not only, it depends what it is. If it's only for good, if you have a goal and you're like, you know what, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to get there. Or this is what I want, or I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there with integrity. I'm going to get there with integrity because I do not subscribe to no matter what, I got to do what I got to do on some, like I'll do some unsavory, sinful, lose myself type of things to get there. No. You must always uphold your way of being the way God is going to be impressed with you. That's very important because if what you want and the best that you want and thinking big what you want has you lose yourself in the process and do negative things, that's not what God wants for you. That's not of God. It's not. Because you can have your goal, you can have that, but your steps leading up to it are very important. Very important. So that's just like, I have to get through school and you'll do things, an income that's, you know what I mean? Like whatever, it's do things the right way. That's the point I'm making. Don't do anything that lacks integrity or anything that takes you away from who you truly are. Okay? But my childhood was full of things, my dad doing that. Always. I remember one time we didn't have anything to eat and my dad said, don't worry, I'm going to come back. He was just like, we're going to get something. We're going to make something. We're going to have something to eat for dinner. And I came back and my dad, he had the food for us. This was when I was a kid. This was a long time ago. But he made sure we ate. My dad made sure, my parents made sure that we had a roof over our head. We had love. We didn't even know we were going through poverty as kids. That's how great it was. But as I got older, I got to see stuff. So got to see more. And it's just like, oh man, like, what's for dinner? It can be scary sometimes. And my dad was like, don't worry. And my dad made it happen. And we had an amazing dinner. But the point is that you got to think big. And it could be dark sometimes. And it could be scary. But thinking like that, because it could be dark and scary if you're not used to thinking like that. That's the thing. If you're not used to thinking big and going for the best, yeah, it's going to feel scary. Yeah, it's going to feel unnatural and not you. But it is you. It's just a version of you you're not familiar with yet. This is why when you go to luxury places, it feels different. This is why you go to luxury places, it's an environment. It feels a certain way. And granted, there's a lot of arrogance there. There's a lot of entitlement because some of those people in those spaces believe that that's just for them and not for other people. Mainly people of color, they don't think so. I know what time it is. They think it's for people like me. It's not for. And guess what? They don't get to decide that. They don't. They don't get to decide what's for you. And don't give someone that power over you. Even though, despite what has happened with the Atlantic, Atlantic slave trade and things of that nature and all the evils and travesty that's going on in this world, let me tell you something. Racism, all of that is nothing but the devil, and no one is better than anyone. We are all one. We come from God. So although in those spaces where there are quality, because that's the best, the quality, really wonderful things, just because people in those spaces are telling you or making you looks, feeling that you shouldn't be there, don't give them your power. Don't. God is the one that said you could go there, so you better go there. Okay? If you want to eat at that restaurant, or you want to buy that car, or you want to live in that neighborhood, whatever it is, if God approved it, you do what God wants you to do, what he has for you. Man doesn't decide that. It is not up to humanity to tell you what you deserve at all. At all. Because they did not make you. They are not the creator. They are the created. So therefore, we don't give any energy into that negativity and those evil people. We don't do that. We don't do that because that's what it is, evil. Entitlement, I like to take the first letter of something, either give another meaning to it, give it another word. Another way of saying entitlement, if you continue to say entitled, you will become evil because you believe that I deserve the best and those people don't, and they deserve harm, and I don't care what happens to them. That's not of God. That's from the devil. And that's not okay. I was in a pretty high-end store the other day, last week with my daughter, and I saw another woman that wasn't my race. She was giving me the eye. I could see she kept looking my way because she's surprised that A, I'm in this store, A, I'm paying with the method I'm paying with, and how is that possible? And I could feel it. So I made sure I let her know from the corner of my eye. I gave her a look. She knew. You're not going to say anything. What you going to say? What, is there a problem? Oh, I don't belong in this store? Or I shouldn't be able to, not only should I not be in this store, how can I even pay with that? It's evil. Entitlement. Who are you? And when we walked out the store, I told my daughter what that was about. But she was 9, so she was like, Mommy, I don't even know what you're talking about. But it was a teaching lesson, So don't give people your power. Don't give people your power to say that, oh, you don't deserve this. You shouldn't have that. No. And that's why it's important not to tell everybody what your goals are. Because remember, even people that you love might sometimes, they're stuck. So they're going to project onto you. So that's why it's very important. Whatever you want, let's just keep it on the low. Just keep it quiet and stay focused. Stay in prayer, stay focused and disciplined. And you don't have to tell everyone your business because that's not helpful at all. Okay. So thinking big is going for the best. It is going for the best. No matter what it is. You want to be a doctor? Be a doctor. You want to buy that beautiful house? Work on it to try to get that house. You want to have kids? Have some kids. Meet the right person and have some kids. You know what I mean? Do it the right way. Do it the God way. Whatever it is, you want that promotion at work? Go for it. Work hard. You want to open your own business? Do it. You want to start a podcast? Do it. You want to have an online business? Do it. What is it you want? What is you want? Maybe you don't want to start a business. That's cool too. What is it you want? You want to go bungee jumping? I don't recommend it, but that's your business. Do it. Just make sure it's safe. What is you want to do? You want to go to Niagara Falls? Go. Do it. You want to go to Alaska? I don't know why anyone would pay for cold, but if that's what you want, do it. Do it. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something that's unfamiliar. Stretch yourself. Learn to stretch yourself, not stress yourself. So important. Learn to stretch yourself with learning, growing, being more than who you were yesterday, challenging yourself for the best. Stretch yourself. Don't stress yourself. Don't add other things in your life that are negativity and bringing you down. Or don't add more to the plate that is just going to stress you out. We already have a lot to deal with. Like, why? Right? That's what you want to do. Thinking big is like, it is all possible. I can do it. You want to be a millionaire? Be a millionaire. You want to be a multimillionaire? Be a multimillionaire. With integrity, please. Please do with integrity. Do things the right way. Because what's projected in the world is that the only way you can have what people believe is the best is by selling your soul, is by losing yourself, is by being harmful to others. And I will tell you right now, that is not true. That is not true at all. That's why it is so important for you to truly love yourself, Queen, and not forget who you are. And if you do, this podcast is a reminder, and connect back with God to not allow that to continue. Because it breaks my heart so much to know that you don't love yourself and see yourself as beautiful. And that's another thing about thinking big. Stand in the mirror and be like, I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. You want to go to some spa? Go to the spa. You want to go to spa once a week? Go to the spa once a week. I deserve this. I want the best. Go to the best spa. Don't go to the rinky-dink one. Go to the best one. Look at the ratings. Go on Google. Then go to TikTok to match it up. See what it looks like in there and go over there. You want to go to that restaurant? Go. You want to have some bone marrow? Well, maybe some caviar onto it with the bone marrow? Oh my God. Do it. I don't care what stairs you get. You go where God says you to go. Okay? And again, it's not about monetary. It's not about consumerism, things that are physical. What it's about is believing that God wants the best for you. So therefore you go for the best. Another story. My father's mentor, when he was younger, he went to the store to go get, you guys know I love stories, because it makes it hit better. He went to the store and his grandfather told him, hey, I want you to go get me this particular ribs. They're going to make a stew. And he's a kid, maybe his teenager or whatever. He went to the market and he got some meat, but he saw there was some other meat that was of less. It wasn't as expensive. So he got the meat, came home, and his grandfather's like, he gave his grandfather change. And the grandfather was like, well, what is this? He's just like, oh, I got the meat you asked. He was like, this is not the meat I asked. I asked for this particular meat. He's like, yeah, but the meat that I got you was less expensive. Now, granted, that was sweet. He wanted to be able to give his granddad back some money. Love that. But the grandfather was like, no. I told you to get that particular meat because that was the best. That was the best. And we always go for the best. Do you understand? If I wanted the change back, I would have told you to get the less quality. But I told you to get the daggone best meat that was in the entire case, no matter how much it costs, because it's the best. And God said we can have it. So we're going to have it. And that's how you need to look at it. You need to look at it. If I go for the best, if I think big, if I'm dreaming with my eyes open, what can I achieve? What can I really do with my life? Who can I help? How can lives be transformed? If I show up and I believe in myself the way I'm supposed to, what could happen? Wow, right? Wow. That's why you got to start believing you, Queen. That's why you got to start thinking big. That's why you got to start going for the best. And it's with everything, not some things, everything. Relationships. If you're in relationships with people that you know that you should not be in relationships with, you need to learn to love from a distance, get your keys back to your heart, or snip, snip, snip. And that's my motto. If you just bring me down, I'm not loving you from the distance. You're not in my life, but that's my ministry. That's how I am. If you need to love some people from the distance, do it. But if there are some people that are truly bringing you down, there's no way you're going to be able to think big like that. There's no way. There's no way. So that's why it's very important to remove or distance yourself in a healthy way, healthy boundaries from anyone that is not uplifting you and you're not uplifting them. Whether you guys are both pouring into each other as opposed to take, always taking on you, pulling on you more and more. Oh, it's so exhausting. I can't take that. Like I said, life is already a test. Why in the world do I want to be around someone that's pulling me down? Is always taking something from me, always wants more and more. Why would I want that? See, when you do that, that's stopping you from even thinking right. You can't even think clearly. You can't focus on anything because you're thinking of the negative things that come along with this relationship. And or relationships. It doesn't matter who it is. It can be an intimate partner. It could be friends. It could be whomever, family, no matter who it is, relationships. And that's why relationships are such a big deal for all of us. And who we choose to have relationships with and have these strong bonds with is very important. So decide wisely who you want in your life and who you need to learn to love from a distance. So it starts with relationships. It starts with how we carry ourselves. And I know sometimes I just feel like being frumpy. And the truth of the matter is, I'm a sweats girl. I love me some sweats. I am a sweats girl. I don't want to be in jeans all the time. I actually hate wearing jeans at home. I don't like it. It's very uncomfortable. I am a comfort chic girl. If it's about being high fashion and comfortable, that's me. I like that. I'm not a high heels girl. I think they are beautiful. I love the way it makes our legs look as women. I love it. I have such respect for women that wear high heels and beautiful shoes. Beautiful. Like the really nice ones. My sisters do that. It's great. Like I'm like my mom. We're the flats girls, but flats queens. But my sisters, oh my God, the heels they wear is beautiful. And they look so beautiful in it. And I love the way it looks. And I like how it looks on me. It just hurts. I just don't like how it feels. And they're not good for our feet anyway, but they are cute. So I'm not going to deny they're not cute. They are cute and you look good in them. And if you love it and you can rock it well and it doesn't hurt your feet, girl, I'm so proud of you. Flowers, your flowers. I think that's wonderful because I can't, but that's beautiful. So, whether clothes, whatever it is, just how you feel about yourself. If that's you and that's what you like, do it. Look your best. Be your best. How you see yourself. You need to see, I deserve the best. If you see something in a moment, you're like, oh man, that's so nice, but I'll never be able to afford that. You are stopping yourself before you even started, let alone try. Like I said, Myron Golden said, don't even say try, because that just stops you from even growing. Before you even started, don't say that. Don't say those negative things. Words have power. Remember the negative things that we say to ourselves are coming from the devil. So don't listen to that. He doesn't want you to want the best. He doesn't want you to be confident. He doesn't want you to go for your dreams. He doesn't want you to have the best in life. He doesn't want that, because he knows if you do, you're walking in your godly essence. You are on your mission. You are powerful. He knows that, but he knows, and he needs to stop you from doing that. So he'll stop you with limiting beliefs. He'll stop you from even trying to think that far. Where you're like, oh, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. And you can't think like that. You can't. Another story. Growing up poor is very difficult for us. And like I said, it was 6 of us, and my dad had cerebral palsy. My mom was a teacher, and it was hard. It was really hard. And I remember my dad, I would say out of all of the stories, this one hits the hardest, is of this episode, is that we always wanted to get a house. And didn't ever, as we got older, we were definitely working on doing that. And we lived in an apartment building for over 15 years. It was a really nice apartment, but I remember we lived in the town we lived in. We had to leave that place and find a new place. And my dad said he had made a prayer to God, say, God, please give me an apartment that's so big, so wonderful that no one else wants. Lo and behold, God did that for us. And it was good to us. It was great. God was not the apartment, but God was so great to us to gift us with that, right? But over time, if that's what you want, again, just like I say, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, and that's cool. That's great. Not everyone wants to be an employee. Not everyone wants to be, some people want to be an employee. That's great. Some people want to be in leadership at their job. That's great. Whatever it is works for you. As long as you're going for the best and you're able to have a quality, amazing life, go for it. Okay. So my parents, most of us want to be homeowners. And I remember my parents tried and tried. We had many attempts. And one of the houses, we got outbidded a lot. And one of these houses, we were really close to getting. It was by train tracks. We were really close to getting it. And it was it needed to be a clean strip. Like you had to redo the entire place. So we were this close to getting it. And my sisters and I, we were like envisioning what this was going to be like. It was in a great neighborhood. We were still in the town we loved. And we got outbidded by somebody else. And not only did we get outbidded by someone, that hit hard, but the reconstruction, the whole redo, makeover, the entire house needed a makeover. What we needed to do, and would have been very hard for us financially at the time to do that, those that outbidded us, they did it. They flipped the house, turned upside down. It was beautiful. And we got to see, like, oh my God, like, wow, we were so close to getting this house. Not only did the people get this house over us that we really wanted, they did it. We wanted this house, but what we saw possible for this house, they made happen. And that's hard. So then we had another time to get a house, and this was a really nice house too. Unfortunately, it was a really nice house, a different story, different house. But this house was beautiful, but it was in a really unsafe neighborhood, like really bad. And I remember being, young. I went to the house and I acted like a brat, which is crazy, but I was just like, I'm not happy. I don't want to be here. And my parents were like, okay, cut it out. And I was just like, no, I don't want it. And across the street was like this yard that was unsafe. It's like construction. It was really weird, but really dangerous too. And, we were moving out of our comfort zone too, where we've known with our town that we lived in have been our home for like over 20 years. Right. So, and, so the day my parents were going to sign the papers, there was a lock on the door. And I don't remember. I didn't know the details at the time because I was much younger, but I remember there was a lock on the door. And someone took a rock and threw it at the front window. And man, oh man, it was like, there was another opportunity. Like God was saying right there, like, this is not your house. This is not your house. Like we were already experiencing violence and we didn't even move in yet. And God put a lock on that door. He was like, y'all not going in there. It's not going to be good for you. Yeah, it's nice, but it's not for you. That's another thing about thinking big. Pay attention to the signs that God gives you. So that didn't happen. And we had some other attempts along the way. And so eventually my dad, I remember would have this book. My dad was always really good with teaching us money management. And he would have this book. And I do this to this day, which is so helpful. Writing down all your bills, where your money's going. You should always see where your money's going, queens, always. And I remember my dad saying, for the apartment that we were still in, because we lived above a restaurant. And then, so we were on the first floor, and on the second floor, there were other tenants. But throughout time, there's so many tenants. It was like a lot of college kids there and parties, and they would go up the fire escape. It was just, it got crazy. I remember someone peed directly in front of our door. We were on the main avenue in the town, so it was very lively. Like it was like being in New York, but just in Jersey. But it was a lot. Parking was difficult. Just during the winter, I remember one time we had looked for parking for 2-3 hours. Y'all, I don't know if y'all experienced that. If you're like in Four Seasons area, you know what that's like, right? So you're just over it, or just any time looking for parking, you're over it. And especially come back from work. And my dad had wrote down in the book, one day we can own this apartment building. And I was like, oh man. I was like, God, please let us get a house. So I married my husband. Sometime later, I married my amazing, lovely husband. And he was like, let's get a house. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not getting a house unless my parents are with me. And he's like, okay, let's all get a house together. And I'm like, what? He was just like, yeah, let's all get a house. And I'm like, okay. And my husband's so sweet. Oh, God, my rock. Love you, babe. And he was searching. And we saw 3 houses. 2 were in the town that we lived in that we absolutely love. And the third one was not in our town. And I told my husband, I was like, look, I don't care. We are not leaving this where we live. We're not leaving our town. We're just going to have to work around the clock because we're only getting a house in our town. So the third house that we saw was amazing. And that's the house we now live in. And it's just, you can't believe that it's just all God. It's such a miracle. And that is to see, seeing believing is seeing, right? Or seeing is believing, right? Having that deep faith that both of my parents have. And my dad thought big. And my dad would tell my mom way years ago, one day you're going to have a house, you're going to have a porch, you're going to have a giant backyard, all the things you've ever wanted, you're going to have and more. And I kid you not, because of God, that's what we have. So it is possible. The whole reason why I'm telling you that, it's not because to be a homeowner. It's not because I'm saying that you need to get this money. It's not about that. I'm not saying get your bag, even though you should get your bag, but just get it God's way. Get it. Don't lose yourself. Integrity is because you have to know what is possible. I am possible. You are possible, Queen. So that's why I'm telling you this story. Because remember I told you, if you want something, what is the good that it's going to bring? What the good that this brought, us having this home together, is we have 3 generations living together. We have my children, my sister's kids. We're one big family. My mom, my parents, my mother. We love the good that it's bringing, thinking big. And the environment, the town we live in is just as nice as the environment, the town we lived in before, if not better. It's the same. That's what God will do. He will give you the best if you trust in him. And I kid you not, my parents trust fully in him. And so do I. So does my family. So does my husband. That's what we try to do. So therefore, go for the best. Think big, Queen. So let's list the steps how to do it. Number 1, you got to have faith in God. You have to. This is not possible without him. I'm telling you, it's not. He knows where we can go. He knows the story. So in order for us to even imagine about what's possible, who's the one putting that imagination into us? It's him. So get in line with the Lord. Okay? Number 2, and I always say this too, what do you want? What do you want? And I want you to think big. I want you to think so big. I want you to think so big it scares you because you think that you're not even good enough to have it. That's how big I want you. I want you to think that big. Like that can't happen. Yeah, I want you to think about it. And then keep it about it. I want you to keep going. You know why? Because it's possible. My dad said it is not fair that people that do horrible things in the world get to have all these nice things and the people that believe in God don't. Those people say they believe in God. And most of them don't. They lying, or they believe in the devil. They're not out here trying to make the world a better place, but yet they have these things. And see, don't get stuck on that's the devil talk. Like, well, I want to be humble. And like I said before, and, religiously, we should just know you want the best here. And if you believe in God, the afterlife, right? That's what I believe. You don't just want your good. I just want some good. And then no good later, or just no, ask for God to give you the best always, always. Remember, if you're in the restaurant, what do you want to eat? You want menu with no stars, 0 stars, or 5-star? 5-star restaurant or 0 stars? You want the one where the health department is always shutting it down, or the health department loves it so much, they're at the table next to you saying they're trying to get a seat in. Okay? Come on. That's what you need to do. So what do you want? Want it so bad. Imagine it so bad, the best of it, that it scares you because you think that you're not deserving of it. Because I'm here to affirm you are. So that's why you need to go for what you want, the best of it, with integrity. Do what's right. Number 3, start taking action. Power in a pivot. In small ways, start working towards it. And now, let's stop waiting. Nothing good happens if we just sit and wait for our life to change for the better. Nothing. The only thing that's going to happen is change. And it's the change that will happen will be negative. Because if you sit and do nothing, nothing good is going to come of it. And you're just like, well, that's just the way it's supposed to be. No, it's not. That's what you've allowed it to be. Stop making that your story. Stop making that your narrative and change it, Queen. Please. Because I want the best for you, but more importantly, God wants the best for you. And you want the best for you too, right? So you got to start doing it. Please. Let's not go into this new year not betting on ourselves. Let's not go into this new year thinking that we're less than an imposter syndrome and they're better than me, better than me. No. Cut it. Okay? What do you want? Number 3, what are you watching? What are you subscribing to? You got to change that. Only subscribe to things and look at things that are going to empower you. I'm serious. And be around people that are going to empower you. That's what's going to help change your world, change your thinking, build you up, because you can. Okay? Queen, it is all about thinking thinking big, which is good. It is all about going for the best of everything. I cannot reiterate enough the power of thinking big and going for the best. I cannot. Every episode could be that, essentially. I mean, every episode has that baked into it anyway, because that's how important it is. So it is up to you. You have what it takes. And as always, I'm so glad you're here. So thank you, Queen. Thank you for showing up. And remember to think big and go for the best. And as always, know that you are more than enough. You were powerfully her. Forever forward. You come from greatness, so greatness lives in you. So let's activate it. It's time that we're in a period of activation. Okay? Until next time, I'll see you. Bye.